Miss Anderson, the last government watchdog here. And yes, I was correct. Last time I was here, I told you guys that JD Vance would be the pick for Trump for VP. Yes, he was. Okay. I went into some detail on why he was the pick last week. But once again, I'll just reiterate that when it comes to Trump, the number one key to everything around him, if you want to understand, truly want to understand what's happening with the Trump political machine, the number one thing and the only thing that is important for them is what they call loyalty. Now, loyalty for some of us looks one way. Loyalty for Trump basically means that whoever you are, whatever you've believed in the past, you have to throw all that away. You have to put on you have to be a new man. And that new man has to be a Trump man. And so JD Vance was the pick because he's the kind of guy who can do that. Marco Rubio, I think I said I thought Marco Rubio was the best pick for Trump for multiple reasons. But with that said, Marco Rubio has a past. Marco Rubio has a distinct personality. He has his own political power base. So I could see how Trump, just wouldn't feel comfortable with Marco Rubio because Marco Rubio doesn't pass the number one test in Trump world, which is the loyalty test. And JD Vance passes that test with flying colors. So that's why he was picked ultimately. I could go into greater detail. One good thing about me doing this, the reason why I do this, by the way, one of the reasons why is because I do want other people in the media, other people with shows to, if you have any ideas or any thoughts about these topics, hey, I'm willing to come on, okay, to discuss this stuff. So I could go into greater detail, but it's only me, and that might be kind of boring if I go on and on and on as to why JD Vance was the pick. With that said, one of the reasons why I'm a little bit good at predicting this stuff politically is because, like I said in the last episode last week, I've been at this now for a very long time, since 2006. And because of that, I've run into different projects that I've done. For example, the Gold Bar Bob Menendez project I've been working on now for the past almost 15 years. So with my experience, and I've been working on that in the media with my previous employer, National Legal and Policy Center. I've been working on the Bob Menendez thing, and I'm still working on it now. I had an op-ed, a few op-eds produced in the New York Post. I just had a quote in one of the stories with Isabel Vincent yesterday after, Bob was found guilty and the Democrats are calling for him to resign. Well, a lot of the experience that I got from doing this, working on the Gold Bar Bob Menendez issue as just working as a good government guy and exposing corruption was, one of the main lessons I learned was in politics, it's all about your political machine, okay? And Bob Menendez had an extensive political machine. He started it off in Hudson County, and that machine basically was a hustler machine. Hudson County was a hustling type place. The only type of politician that could survive in a place like that would be a hustler like Bob Menendez. And so he brought that hustling mentality to the United States Senate. And that's what it looks like if you bring Hudson County machine politics, back alley political knife fighting to the United States Senate, you get Senator Bob Menendez. And it amazed me over all the years that I worked on the Bob Menendez issue, how the media almost protected him, okay? How his fellow members of Congress kind of protected him. And so it was very frustrating over the years seeing a member of Congress and a United States senator be so corrupt and so brazen, and to see his fellow senators not only ignore it, but embrace it almost by promoting him. He became the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, United States Senate, one of the most powerful positions in the world. Okay, he became more powerful than some presidents of countries. All right, and so it's really hard for me today so I'm happy. I haven't written anything because I'm torn into two emotionally. I'm super happy that Bob Menendez. So, for anyone who wants to know, if you haven't seen, Senator Bob Menendez was convicted on 16 counts in Southern District of New York. Counts that include bribery, um, acting as a foreign agent for Egypt and Qatar, amongst other things. Okay, so he was found guilty. I've been working on that, on just the reporting on him as an elected official and his corruption now going back to 2010. So it's been a very long time. And so I'm really, really happy that a jury found him guilty on 16 counts. It proves that all the work that I did, really was for real, which is great. At the same time, I'm a little sad. And the reason why I haven't written anything lately is because I realized that for all of those years that I was struggling in the dark and no one paid attention, people in the media did behind the scenes and stuff, people who knew, but most people ignored the corruption of this man, Bob Menendez. And in ignoring it, it showed me that in American politics, it really isn't about the individual politician. It's about the machine backing them. And Bob Menendez had a very powerful machine. And unfortunately, it looks like the same machine that backed him is the machine now that's trying to pressure President Biden out of office. So I'm torn here because I don't understand how people like Senator Schumer could go even the past year sitting there next to his friend Bob Menendez, who was under indictment for acting as a foreign agent, and sat there and really didn't say much when Menendez was getting top secret information from in different hearings as a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. So he's getting access to top secret hearings. He's getting access to top secret information. He's earmarking money for people all over the state, all over the country. And Schumer is there basically almost supporting it all that time. And so now you have a situation where the same Senator Schumer is out here forcefully, in quotes, forcefully telling Biden he needs to go. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, well, what is the United States Senate then? Why is it that you have, or even the House of Representatives, why is it that for years now, and I've seen this for a long time, that corrupt members of the Senate and the House of Representatives get treated with kid gloves, get promoted to chairmanships, get patted on the back, get access to tens of millions of dollars. And they're corrupt. Why is it that these institutions are allowing this, but at the same time, they're turning around and they're trying to unseat the duly elected president of the United States? So I'm not saying that the current push to have Biden to leave is born out of corruption. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Chuck Schumer is being paid off to tell Biden to go away. I'm not saying that. All right, that's not the case. I don't think that's the case. I doubt it's the case. What I am saying, unfortunately, is that we have a situation where these guys have normalized corruption. And Bob Menendez kind of said it in his press conference when he left the courtroom after he was found guilty on 16 counts. And he said, him being found guilty has ramifications for the rest of the United States Senate because, according to him, they're all doing what he's been doing. So he's really angry because he feels like, hey, man, there's a lot of corruption going on there. This is Bob Menendez seeing it that way. And so I've got to believe there is so much corruption going on in that Senate under Chuck Schumer that they no longer know right from wrong. And so these people who no longer know right from wrong, who have been so corrupted, are now telling the American people to trust them and the donors to the Democratic Party, the corporate donors, to decide to pressure Biden to go away. Well, I'm telling President Biden, if he's listening, tell him no dice, bro. No dice. Tell him, nah, man, they can take that. Because here's the thing. I know personally that the judgment of people like Senator Schumer and others in the Senate and Congress, they don't have good judgment. And the way you know they don't is they allowed a guy like Bob Menendez, as corrupt as he is, to walk up and down the U.S. Senate, to have meetings with Egyptian spies in the Senate with his girlfriend, wife, or whatever, and no one said a word. They celebrated it. They made him chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. All right? So their judgment is not good. They don't know how to make judgments. They have problems in those institutions. So those are the last people. Nancy Pelosi, former President Barack Obama. These guys, they're elites. Okay? They think they know it all, but here's the reality, okay? You have to respect your opponent. I don't believe they do. I don't believe Chuck Schumer respects Trump. I don't think Obama does. I don't think any of these guys look at Trump and respect him. I think they all take him as a joke. Okay? Well, Trump is the guy who in 2016, he beat the Democrats. He beat the Clinton machine. He beat the mainstream media. He beat the mainstream portion, the rhinos of the GOP. He beat all of them to become president. He beat the Bush family. He beat Marco Rubio. He beat Mitt Romney. I could just go on and on and on. Trump is an opponent you better take serious. They're not taking him serious. They think anybody can beat this guy. There's only one guy who's beaten Trump, and it's Joe Biden. And I'm sorry that everybody sees that Joe Biden's old. Yeah, he's old, man. That happens in life. All right? That happens. People get old. Trump is old too. But at this point, where we're at now in the election, it's no dice, guys. Biden has to say no dice. Y'all are in on the Biden boat. I'm sorry, Obama. Sorry, man. I'm sorry to all the big donors to the Democrat Party who have said the funds have dried up. Isn't it interesting that all of these donors are now saying that the funds they're not going to donate to the Democrat Party with Joe Biden as president? But all those same donors were okay with Gold Bar Bob Menendez when he was indicted for being a spy, for taking bribes. They saw that he had gold bars and cash all over his closet, in his shoes, and the money from the Democrat Party never dried up for Bob. He continued to raise money, not only in his campaigns, but for his legal defense fund. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. It never dried up. So what does that tell you about their party? What does it tell you? That they can turn on and off the spigot whenever they want. That's what they can do. And so they're deciding they're going to turn off the spigot on Biden right now, but they never turned it off on Bob Menendez. What does this tell you? I know what it tells me. It tells me don't trust them. Don't trust them. They can't be trusted. Okay? And so since they're all as a group now, huddled together like a pack of wild dogs, going after Biden, I think he needs to tell them, no dice. Bye-bye. Go away. Go away. They haven't been here for real this entire time. And you know what? The proof of it is they were cavorting with guys like Bob Menendez. And there's other guys in the House of Representatives just like him that they know about. Okay? It's going on. It's happening. The corruption is real in Washington, D.C., and it's off the chain. And so those corrupt people are now telling us we should trust them on who they're deciding who should be president. I don't trust them, man, and I don't think Biden should either. So that's my advice to the president, is to tell him no dice, tell him to skate, tell him to walk, goodbye, because they're untrustworthy. They can't be trusted, and the proof of it is what happened with Bob Menendez. Bob Menendez would have never been brave enough to take gold bars and cash the way he did if he didn't know how corrupt everyone else is in those institutions. That's just the truth. So that's what's going on. I'm sorry to everyone out there who just feels like Biden is a corpse and he has to go and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry that it looks that way, but the reality is you really can't trust anything that's going on right now. And the other reality is Biden's the only guy who's ever beaten Trump. So, like it or not, that's what the Democrats are. If they want to win, they better stick with Biden. If they're successful in making Biden go, you can hear it now from me. Here's my prediction. I predicted right on JD Vance. Here is my prediction on what happens in November if Obama and Pelosi and the Democrats and their corporate backers are successful in making Biden resign. If they do that, my prediction is Trump wins in November. That's right. You heard it here first. So that's what's going on now. I just want to say I really am happy, though, on the Bob Menendez front. It's 15 years, a lot of hard work. I'm going to have another episode coming up soon. I'm going to have many, many more because the politics are heating up. This is great. Please come back for more. Please go to my Substack, Thomas Anderson's Political Garden. You've also got lastgovernmentwatchdog.com, and you also have @lastgovwatch on Twitter. So check out all my work in those places, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks so much. Take care.